all good friends here. We're all going to be talking to each other, right? We good thing. So we're going to do a couple of things as we get everybody filed in. We're going to play a couple of party games. First of all, I want to see hands. Who is not from Huntsville? Zach, I know you're not. So where you guys from? Birmingham. Okay, close enough. What cons do you have in Birmingham? I know there's something.
There used to be Magic City Con and what's the other con? That's traveling conventions that comes to Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah,
Comic-Con. Anybody else from out of town? All Huntsvillians. Okay, so let's do this. We're all from town. What's your favorite place to eat? Local place, not a chain.
Big Spring Cafe.
Big Spring Cafe is good. What's another? What's that?
Chuck Wagon.
Chuck. My man. I like some good barbecue. I like some good barbecue.
My wife's house.
Your wife's house. Yes. Scoring points. The toy box. The toy box. That's a good one. Charla. Where? Straight to L. Oh yeah, we were there the other day. Yeah. I got what did we get, Charlotte? We got number 7. What's that? I love pulls. They're very good. Yes. Over there in front of Target, right? That's kind of near my house. I go there a lot. Yeah. What's that? I don't. Oh, the bottle?
Yeah.
Have we been there?
That's for the mafia table. You sit in the little tray window.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, you want to run that one by everybody? What is the mafia table?
In the bar area of the bottle, it's kind of fine dining. But in the bar area, you've got one table, which is kind of in like kind of a glass room. And you kind of cut off. You kind of get in the front window. And they call it the mafia table. We have a special request.
Sir, you're kind of concerning me. Do I need to pay you for protection?
I did actually in Glasgow. I once worked for the mafia.
All right, give him a seat up front.
I did a PhD in neuroscience at the time, and in the financial crisis, my funding got lost. So I had to take out a personal bank loan to get to the end of the studies, and to make the interest payments on the bank loan, I got a job at Domino's Pizza. And it just so happened that that particular franchise was owned by a major mafia figure. Yeah, anyway.
This sounds like a spin-off of Peaky Blinders. It's going to take place in Huntsville.
Did they have you delivering more than pizza, or was it?
It was literally in the business. By the time I left, I was a dairy manager and was seeing 8 stores.
Yeah, maybe he should be up here with us. All right. Yeah. See how much leeway I got here. All right, I guess this is it. All right, so welcome everyone. I do have 11 a.m. How's everybody feeling? Have you woken up? Have you had a coffee? Yeah, feeling okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do. Everybody stand up if you can. It's okay. You don't have to. We're going to play. I see you guys in the back. You can stand up if you want. What we're going to do is we're going to look around. You got to say hello and meet someone that you don't already know.
I'm Stanley. Michael.
All right. Carl and Zach, that means you too. Say hello to someone. All right, we're all friends here. So, welcome everybody to the annual Geek Out Huntsville panel. We are very grateful to the Expo for letting us kind of kick things off every Saturday of every con. We've been doing this every year. Who has heard of Geek Out Huntsville? Okay, about half the hands. This event is my favorite Geek event in town. Like, I think this one is fantastic because it's not small, it's not big, it's not as, huge as DragonCon is and difficult to get around, you can make your way around here and meet a lot of cool people and see a lot of cool things. Really fun. So those of you in the back waiting on Shatner, how are you doing? Yeah. It's weird. We have like two different sections here. I'm reminded of what John Lennon said when the Beatles played the stadium one time. He was like, all right, everyone in the back, clap your hands, and all of you in the front, rattle your jewelry. All right, so we're going to start by getting everyone to introduce themselves. We have a great panel here today to talk about geeky things happening around Huntsville. I'm going to start with Ms. Tasha.
Hello. I'm loud, but
She is loud.
I used to work at, oh God, okay. I used to work at Space Camp, so I used, hey, Space Camp people, I know there are a few of you in here. So I can be loud if I need to be. But yeah, my name is Tasha Hudson. I'm more or less from Huntsville, like an hour outside of the city, and I just moved here. I've been living here, God, for almost a decade at this point. Did I just talk about what I do?
Mike's yours.
Cool. Oh God. Okay. Panic.
We're doing just an intro. We'll get to your geeky parts later. Yeah.
I am the only person up here in costume. I've been doing this for about 12 years, so a long time. Yeah, I guess that's it.
That's good.
I'll talk about it more later.
We do have something I want to talk about with you, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Next up, we got David over here, the Silver Fox. David, tell us about yourself and what you've been up to.
So I'm David Hitt. I'm here on the panel because I'm a senior systems engineering supporting NASA's Space Launch System rocket. If y'all heard we did rockets here in Huntsville, I've been a contractor out at Marshall Space Flight Center since 2002, working in education, strategic communications, and now doing payload integration for SLS. So that's kind of who I am.
Plug your book, David.
I'm the author of a couple of books on spaceflight history, Homesteading Space, the Skylab story, written with a couple of the astronauts that lived on Skylab, and Bold Day Rise, the space shuttle early years.
If you talk about Skylab, he'll go all night. He'll be up to 3 in the morning.
This is the 50th anniversary of Skylab this year. I have several upcoming talks. You're welcome to come learn about Skylab. Skylab is awesome.
All right, last but not least, we got a rep from one of the coolest things here in the Rocket City. We got Tricky Ricky here from the Rocket City Trash Cans.
Hello, everybody.
Woo! Now, let's hear it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ricky Fernandez. I'm the promotions manager and MC for the Rocket City Trash Pandas. I've been working there since the first season in 2020, or it was supposed to be the first season. It's my hometown right here. Excited to talk to everybody today.
All right, so those of you just following in, now that you know everybody, I want to remind you this is a conversation. There is an open mic. You can shout at us anytime. This is not a we speak, you listen thing. Run up here. If you do, I got gifts for you. If you come up here to hang out with us, I got stickers. We got artists. What is this, a comic?
How to draw.
How to draw artists. Yeah. So I'm just saying, anybody want that? You don't want it? Sure, there's a mic back there too. All right, so what we're going to do first of all, is we're going to get our panelists here to tell you about what they're up to, because I think we've got a good sample size of the cool things that are going on in Huntsville. Who wants to go first? I'll just volunteers go first. I'm not going to call anybody.
Hey, I'll go first.
Go for it.
David's written books and stuff and having to follow down is pretty tough. I can barely read, so. Yeah, it's building Rocket City Trash Pandas baseball team here in the local area. If you don't know, we are the AA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels. One of our players just got called up there just the other day. One day he's playing here in Madison, Alabama. The next day he's debuting at Fenway Park in Boston. So we're just this close away from majors for a lot of up-and-coming people here. We got our current homestand going on right now. That started on Tuesday, runs through Sunday. If you guys like giveaways, who likes free stuff, am I right? That was a cheap pop there. We got some bobblehead giveaway coming up this Sunday, so if you're still in town, you're looking for something to do, check out the Rocket City Trash Pandas. We've got a beautiful ballpark out there if you haven't been out yet. And you can get yourself if you see our mascot right here, Sprocket. This is a Rocket City, so we are we're very rocket inspired around here. You can get yourself a Sprocket bobblehead this Sunday. And as you see with my jersey, I guess I do more cosplay than I have.
Show us that.
Yeah, I got this jersey. I'm like an amateur cosplay right now. I call this like part-time Boba Fett, like we had like 3 times a day. Usually activity. So Here we go. It's like,
Woo! This is the way, man. So, Richard,
yeah.
give us some Trash Pages trivia. Do you have any like trivia questions off the top of your head? We got surprises for our crowd here.
All right. Last season in the major leagues, only one pitcher threw a no-hitter all season. He was a Rocket City Trash Pager, the first ever pitcher to start a game here. Does anyone know who that was?
Say it again.
Reed Detmers is correct.
Come here.
You're the winner of the Proud Pocket schedule. You can now make a Oh, it looks like you get some. Congratulations. That is right, though. Reed Detmers, yeah, currently pitching for the LA Angels. Only solo no-hitter last year.
So, Ricky, how many guys are on the Angels right now that have the Trash Pages?
Okay, so Reed is starting pitcher, so he plays every 5 days. He's one of their top guys there. Logan O'Hoppe, who just gave away a bobblehead of his on Tuesday, he finished the season as our catcher. Last season, he started the year as the starting catcher for the LA Angels. He was like fourth in the league in home runs just last week, so really off to a great start there. And then Zach Neto, who was our starting shortstop, he played about a week and a half in town. He won the Southern League Player of the Year Award, or Player of the Week Award, and then they called him up to the pros the next day. I actually have a photo shoot with him set up for Monday. He wears headbands a lot on the field. I wear headbands as well. I was going to have a photo shoot with a Major League Baseball player. It's going to be goofy. It's going to be called Dumb and Dinger. We're going to do a stick the post like I just did right there. And before I got my photo shoot with a pro baseball player, he selfishly got called up. He's been dreaming of since he was a young boy. So I missed out on that opportunity. But currently we have 3 guys that come through in town that are in the starting line.
So there's actually another connection here at this Expo to the Angels. You and I were talking about it earlier. Can you tell everybody kind of like a little trivia here?
Yeah, we had a little special guest last night, one you might have seen here at the Expo. One of the greatest players in LA Angels history was Dave Eckstein, 2-time World Series champion, World Series MVP 2006. His wife, Ashley Eckstein, of course, is the voice artist for Star Wars. So they both came on down to the ballpark on Thursday, threw out the first pitch. Got to be fans, all that stuff. They actually both signed one of our Boba Fett jerseys. We're going to auction that off here this year and donate all the proceeds to charity. So they were so nice to me. And it's interesting seeing the baseball and the Comic-Con world come together. I know Ashley said that she gets asked to sign baseballs all the time, even though Star Wars is her thing, and Dave gets asked to sign lightsabers occasionally. So interesting crossover there. But
I think baseball is the geekiest sport because you got to keep track of all these stats. There's so much history. It's the same thing as somebody keeping track of like all the Star Wars vehicles or something, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we hand out scorecards as fans. Anybody who wants to be like, what sport do you go to where people actually keep score while they're watching it and keep the stats and have all that. No one goes to a basketball game and goes, okay, 4,000. About that. Baseball class, right? All right. You all right? Let's count
It's almost like the D&D stat sheet.
It's so there are so many stats I don't even know what all of them mean, and I work in the world of baseball, and I've done it for years. And I see someone like, he's got a good win rating. Oh well, that's hard to come by. Yeah, great.
All right, thank you, Ricky. Let's go to one of our next two. Here's what we're gonna do. You guys play paper, rock, scissors. First.
Okay.
Let's see.
Paper, rock, scissors.
Do it again.
Rock, scissors.
Paper again.
All right, we're doing this at the same time.
One more time.
Paper, rock, scissors, shoot.
All right, David wins. All right, David, tell us what's going on over at Marshall and Nancy these days.
All right, so out of curiosity, let's see an update now. How many of you do not live in Huntsville? How many are not local folks? All right, so a lot of local folks, the folks who are not local, you've probably heard Huntsville referred to as the Rocket City. We're kind of proud of it. We name everything in town Rocket City this, Rocket City that, because if you send people to the moon, why not? I mean, it's kind of a. But why? Why are we the Rocket City? Going back 70 years, the first American satellite launched on a Huntsville-designed rocket. The first American in space launched on a Huntsville-designed rocket. The first human beings to walk on the moon launched on a Huntsville-designed rocket. The space shuttle flew for over 30 years on Huntsville-managed, built, designed propulsion systems. We have kind of enabled American human spaceflight since the very beginning. For the local folks, what that means is we grow up in the shadow of all of it, right? I mean, even those of you not from town, you come in on if you came in on the west side of town, you probably noticed that we've got a giant rocket standing on the edge of town. It's kind of subtle, you may have missed it, but and if you grow up here in Huntsville, like you know that was, past tense, a thing, right? We sent people to the moon. Now, I'm 47 years old. We didn't do it in my lifetime. I never got to see it. Looking through the room, looks like there's some folks in here that maybe haven't seen a moon landing in your lifetime. You hear stories about, man, we did engine testing at Marshall, for instance, that would shake the windows in town. You would hear it all over. Like, how, you go as far as A-Rap. How cool must that have been? How cool must that have been to be from Huntsville, to know the work that's going on here, to drive down to Florida one day and to watch a skyscraper-sized rocket generating millions of pounds of thrust, tearing off of the planet on its way to the moon? How cool would that have been? You live in the shadow of it. Well, y'all, in November, I found out. In November, I went down to Kennedy Space Center for Artemis 1, the first launch of the Space Launch System rocket, and watched a skyscraper-sized rocket splitting the night sky open in a column of flame on its way to the moon. About a week later, I go outside. It finally stops being cloudy here. I go outside. I look up at the moon. There's a spaceship orbiting the moon. Because some friends of mine put it there, right? Like, how crazy is that? That's kind of what we're doing at Marshall. Right now, we're kind of organized at Marshall around the theme of launch, land, live, learn. Launch. We're managing the Space Launch System rocket. We just flew Artemis 1 so successfully that it kind of shocked everybody working on it. I mean, like, we were expecting a clean launch, but first launches never go that way. I mean, it was nice. It turned out well. Getting ready next year for Artemis 2, we're going to do it again. We're going to put human beings on the thing. We're going to send people around the moon for the first time in half a century, for the first time in my lifetime, right? Y'all, I just went earlier this week and saw flight hardware for that launch. Like, I saw the stage adapters that they're going to put the Orion on that the astronauts are going to ride in. The year after that, Artemis 3.
Partying on the moon again.
Party on the moon again. Hang on to your dancing shoes. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be the end of 25. So 2025, I turned 50 years old, right? I'm going to spend half a century on this world without ever seeing anybody go to another. My son, he's going to be 6. He's going to grow up with human beings walking on the moon like that's a normal thing to do. Like, how awesome is this? Artemis 4, we're not only sending people back to the moon, we're launching part of a space station. We're going to have some folks walking around on the moon while other folks are living in a space station around the moon, while other folks are living in a space station around the Earth. If you grew up in the shadow of Apollo, if you were always kind of jealous, the Apollo folks are going to be jealous of us, right? I mean, the Artemis generation is going to see stuff that the Apollo generation never did. Launch. Land, Marshall managed the human landing system. This is going to be the lunar landers that we're going to use to actually put the astronauts down on the lunar surface. Those are in development now. Those are in testing now. LIP, Marshall is science mission control for the International Space Station. If astronauts are actually doing work on ISS, if they're doing science, if they're doing experiments, they don't call Houston, they call Huntsville to ask how to do the science. For 22 years now, every minute of every day for 22 years, people have been in that room supporting science on the International Space Station from Huntsville.
David, I want to point out how geeky the city is. Me and Todd are patrolling somebody over here. Sir, you know who you are. Can you stand up? This man over here in a Mando suit. Why don't you shout and tell everybody what you do at the day job? I'm just saying, you can see somebody in a Mando suit like that. It's like, that's what they do. That's what this town's all about.
At the same time, we're supporting the International Space Station, supporting industry as they're working on commercial space stations that you're going to start seeing flying in the second part of this decade. working on a lunar surface habitat, right? We're going to the moon not just to visit like we did in Apollo, but to stay. We need a space house on the surface of the moon. We're developing that now. Mars transit habitat. Everything that we're doing going to the moon is getting ready to go to Mars. It's a long journey to go to Mars. We need a flying space house to ride to Mars in. The early development work is going on that. Live, land, launch, land, live, learn. We're doing the sheer raw science and technology development work, ranging from anything to support a rocket that's going to launch the first samples that we bring back from Mars. We're going to be launching in a few years a robotic science mission. Right now, there's a rover on Mars collecting samples. Marshall's developing the rocket that will be landed on Mars to launch those samples back to Earth. We do X-ray astronomy, studying the origins of the universe. Space nuclear propulsion, nuclear thermal propulsion, right? We're doing the research for the giant nuclear rockets that everybody's doing today are great for going into Earth orbit, great for going to the moon. If we're going to Mars, we've got to get better. We've got to get smarter. We've got folks that are the rocket scientists, and the rocket scientists say, "Whoa, you're a rocket scientist," about that are doing the nuclear work, cryofluid management. How do you move rocket fuels around in space from one rocket to another? The kind of really exciting stuff. And so, like I said, if you're a space fan, if you grew up here. Yeah, the good news is the best really is about to come, and it's about to come very soon.
Yeah. You ever go to like a rap show and they have like a hype man come out before the main guy comes out? He's like a hype man for artists. Dave, your turn. Do you have us a good NASA-related trivia question?
Oh, a good NASA-related trivia question. Okay. Can anybody name? So they just named the 4 astronauts that are going to ride on Artemis 2. They're going to be the first human beings to go around the moon in 50 years. Can anybody name one of the Artemis 2 astronauts?
Christina Cook, who's also a Space Camp alum.
Yeah.
I emceed her induction to the Space Camp Hall of Fame. Yes.
Come on there.
It counts.
I work at Space Camp.
Now, David, if you have another question,
Do what?
if you have another trivia question, put together those.
I
know you're
okay. Before I do that, can anybody name one of the others? All right, where
I heard Victor's name. Mr. Green Shirt, come here. I got some for you.
Do you work at Space Camp?
No.
Okay.
I have an IT geek. Thank you. Keep up the hype.
So they got to tell you when they announced the 4 astronauts and when that's going to be going on 2. Some friends and I were kind of like looking at the astronaut or didn't they name that might be on Artemis 3? And like maybe I should say something. There's one lady that I'm really hoping is going to be on 3. I think you know what I'm talking about. But we'll see. Yeah.
So I will, and this is shameful, I'm taking off my badge. Everybody was so excited when they named the crew. My reaction was, aw, because if you fly on 2, you're not going to be the first person, the next person on the moon. And so there was one of the 4 in particular that I've really been pulling for to be on Artemis 3. That is, aw. So,
It's a bit like pulling for your favorite baseball players. When you would see them get called up to the majors. That's kind of like our analog being called up to the majors. It's like, hey, you know what about that ISS stuff? That's fine. But you're going to the majors. You're going to the moon. You got any other questions for us, David? Or should we pass it along?
pass it along. We'll
All
one more
right.
time.
Tasha, you're first of all, you got to tell us about your outfit and what all went into putting it together.
Okay, so to start off, I'm gonna let everyone in this room know I'm not Captain America, I'm not Captain Britain, and I'm not Captain Marvel. Because I've gotten that at least 5 times already before the con started. I'm Captain Carter. She's the first Avenger in another universe. If you haven't watched the What If Disney Plus series, if you're a Marvel fan, it's phenomenal. I recommend it. If you're a fan of comics, it's exceptional. They did the zombies. If you're a fan of Marvel zombies, they did a zombies episode, which was top tier. I grew up on stuff like that. So as far as this one is concerned, fun fact, I also did not make this. It's one of the few costumes I did not make because I made the first Avenger costume before they started selling them online. You can find the first Avenger costume pretty much anywhere now. But as soon as the episode debuted, my husband and I were watching it. Who is the person that stood up?
That is the man.
He was Mandalorian. We watched it, and I'm like, I'm making that. I'm buying fabric right now because I just fell in love with the character. But I did not, as fun as that was, it was not fun. It was actually really hard. I did not want to sew another Union Jack. It was incredibly difficult to sew because there's a lot of technicality that goes into the costume. And I had to redo the entire top twice. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to buy my second one because that was awful. And the shield's gone through a few different iterations.
Oh, that's the show.
This one is metal. The shield's gone through a few different iterations. The first time I made it, if you've ever thought about getting into costuming, like I said earlier, I've been doing it for about 12 years. It is a lot of trial and error. The first shield I made was garbage. Like, it's still sitting upstairs. I should honestly probably throw it away. Yeah,
I mean, you could throw
my
it.
husband's
Throw it,
giving me
make
the
it bounce
thumbs
back,
up.
right?
It will not bounce back.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it will do some damage
Well,
to whoever it hits.
I saw you get decapitated, right?
No, it was cut in half, and that was a different version of me.
Oh, okay.
Gosh. But yeah, my husband's like giving me the thumbs up over there to throw away my garbage one. It's just, but it's a lot of trial and error. So if you've ever thought about getting into costuming, but you're worried about it, if you think you are too old, too big, too little, it doesn't matter. Like, you can, if you think you are going to like buy a costume and get judged because of that, it does not matter. Like, cosplay is for everyone, first of all. And that's kind of my passion project.
So tell us about your new passion project.
It's the Avengers Initiative. It is a nonprofit. If you've heard of the 501st, which is out there, it's a little like them. Our founder was a 501st member, which is a Star Wars 501c3 costuming group. I feel like I'm also advertising for them right now, but I'm not.
That's okay. They're cool.
I'm getting there. But our founder was like, well, what if we had one of these for Marvel? Because Marvel's getting really big, especially with the movies, stuff like that. Like, these characters are recognizable, especially by kiddos at this point. And so he founded the Avengers Initiative, which is a nonprofit, and I'm trying to start a chapter here in Huntsville. I'm the first member, first Avenger. I'm the first member here in Huntsville for the Avengers Initiative, and we need at least 10 people to get our own chapter started. I'm trying to build that from the ground up, so I don't have a panel or anything here, but I'm hoping I will eventually get there, much like the 501st do. If you are familiar with any sort of outreach like that, I would love to talk to you. If you work for a hospital, I would love to talk to you to be around, make those kids' days is really what I love to do. My favorite interactions at cons are with little kids because they think you are that character and you just light up their whole day. I've let at least 3 kids hold my shield and they're like, oh my God, this is a real vibranium shield. I'm like, great. Yeah, it is. I am a terrible liar. When I worked at space camp, when we would wear our blue flight suits, my kids would always be like, have you been to space? I was like, no, but I wish I could go because I try my best.
The guy coming on after us was in space.
Yeah, I know. I'm really jealous of that. That's pretty much all I had. Do you have any questions?
Well, first of all, I got an idea. I see a couple of costumes out here already. In fact, I see a Lady Loki back here. Yes. Do we have anybody in costume that would like to just come show it off? Show us what you put together for your cosplay today. If you're brave enough to come up here, I might have something for you. Here she comes, yes. Sylvie. Now, is it
Sylvie or Lady Loki? Because you have both horns.
Would you like to tell everybody about your outfit where it came from?
Sure.
Oh, hello.
Sorry,
Sorry,
y'all know each other.
Yeah, we do. We actually were in space camp together.
Yeah, so I made my original Rosie costume. I did not have the horns the first time. When my best friend and I went to a Comic-Con in the store. So we kind of just did a gingerbread theme, and then I added the horns later. So it is the original Rosie costume.
Okay.
Thank you, Lucky. This week, can I give you a solid? Hold on to the shirt. I want to show everybody. That's one of our Geek Out Huntsville t-shirts. Yeah, so that each of the white lines and flag there is one of the rockets that was coming out of here in Huntsville. Yeah. All right, Brad, I know you're in here. Where can everybody find those shirts? He was here. Green Peak Press. Where are they at? Green Peak Press on Governor's Drive. I got some stickers I can give out to you too. Don't you even have a trivia question?
Oh God.
So it can be cosplay related, it can be Marvel related.
I don't. I'm terrible at coming up with things.
What metal is your shield made of?
Oh, I mean that's fair. But I feel like a lot of people know that. What?
No. What metal is just your shield?
Oh.
This.
Oh, it just says it's
vibranium, sir.
It is vibranium for all my kids. But for actual people who are getting into like costuming, it's pressed aluminum, which is really cool. I also do not make this, unfortunately, because I live in a very tiny apartment and do not have the capability to do things like that. But hopefully, when we get a house, we will have the capability to do things like that.
Nice.
Huh? Oh no, we're looking at houses like right now. So we're getting there.
So I think I got a tricky question.
Yeah.
We're going to go into a little bit of the deep lore, but it's kind of related to your character. What is the name of the multi-dimensional celestial guy in Marvel Comics that always shows up when there's some big event? He's got a big head. What? All right. Anybody that says the Watcher, come up here and pick you out the prize.
So we had one hand that came up. Just like okay.
Yeah, come up here. It's fine. We got all kinds of stuff. We'll pick you out.
I tried.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got about 15 minutes before we start moseying out of here for this guy named Bill to come out here. What we're going to do is do Q&A in this conversation. So I just speak out everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to do Q&A in conversation. So I think there's 2 hot mics. I think there's one up here that our friend is in front of, and I think they told me there's one in the back. But feel free to come on up here. You can come hang out and stay with us if you want. So hey, introduce yourself when you come up. What's your name, man? There might be a button you have to push up on.
Oh, I think I hear something.
I think I heard you. We're a city full of
Hey,
engineers.
there it is.
I'm Steve. I just want to say first, for your nonprofit, that's awesome. I run a specialty baseball league.
That's so cool.
Players. And doing anything like that, we usually get them to come out to the movie area.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing. I want to say thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
I hope you find 9 other people that you need to get with.
Fingers crossed.
Come down to the movie and visit us.
Okay, absolutely.
And I have a question over here. How did you come up with the name for your team?
Oh, that's a good story. I want to tell about that. Yeah.
So I'm actually from Birmingham, so of course we have the Barons, and I watched you guys play. Great game. Always enjoyed watching you both play. How'd your name come about?
All right, so when the team originally was in Mobile, they were Mobile Bay Bears, and they got relocated to here. When they were relocated to here, they wiped everything clean. So the team name was put up to a fan vote. So anybody here, I'm sure probably some people submitted stuff. I did as well. You can submit a name, and then the ownership at the time picked the top 10, let the local area vote on it, top 5, top 2, and so on and so on. And Trash Pandas is, I mean, it had a lot of people happy, and then it had a lot of people like, this is the stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. There was no middle ground. So the name just kept winning and winning. I actually entered the name 2 times. I finished 2nd place, and I guess my reward was working for the team that kind of would beat me for the name contest. But he won like 85 to 15 as far as the vote goes for like percentage. And yeah, I mean, it's the Rocket Raccoon inspiration was huge. And whoever threw that name there, this area picked it up, and it was a runaway.
Now, am I remembering right that you guys have a collab with Marvel coming up?
That's right, yeah. Marvel partners with MLB every year. In fact, we're doing our first, it's called Defenders of the Diamond Knight. So Marvel, if you sign up for this initiative, they take your logo, they Marvelize it, and then create a hat and a uniform for that identity. Of course, ours is Rocket Raccoon, so we'll have a new logo, new hats, uniforms, and that's actually on that's June 24th. Is our Marvel Defenders for Dynamite. We'll do that every year, so it'll change up. Last year, I think our tradition was Marvel Thor. So yeah, good to say.
I know one lady you should probably have it.
I know, right? Well, there's so many options. We do Star Wars tonight as well. So.
All right, you got next customer here? There's one back there.
My name is Carlo. I have a question for the spaceman over there.
The spaceman. You just made his day.
If you're going to live or up to Mars, and hopefully beyond Jupiter and Saturn, blah, 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 will there be jobs opening, and how much will it pay you?
Question is, will there be jobs opening in space?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question because, like, a lot of the work that goes into developing these technologies does open a lot of jobs, doesn't it, Dave?
It does, and I wasn't entirely sure that I heard the question. What's the question? Will there be jobs opening in space? Is that what
along those lines?
Yeah. All right. So, so the crazy exciting thing. I talked to students not that long ago. And anytime I talk to students, like, who wants to be an astronaut? All these little kids, and you've got, the other, it's not 100%. There's several that, no, it's not for me, but a lot. And this one little girl comes up and says, I don't want to be an astronaut, but I want to go to space, right? And like not that long ago, like 10 years ago, that sentence makes no sense. But if you stick it around in this room for another half an hour, you're going to see one, right? You're going to see a guy. He's not a professional astronaut. He's been to space, He's not on a TV show. He's not from space. He lives in Iowa. But yes, definitely. Increasingly, you're going to see more and more commercial space flight. Like I mentioned, the kind of a next step is going to be commercial space stations. When we have commercial space stations, you'll see people who are going up because they have an experiment that they want to run, or because they have a movie that they want to film. There's a group now that's working on adding a movie studio / sports arena to the International Space Station.
What's that?
You got to figure it out quickly because that day's coming. 100% there will be jobs opening up in space, in the very near future. And I'm going to go out a quick side note because folks have been coming up and getting the prizes. We've got some NASA stickers and everything up here. All of these I sold. There's actually a NASA booth at the far end of the hallway. So if you haven't seen that, you want to know more, you want to get some NASA stickers, space station stickers, Artemis stickers, go down to the end of the hallway outside and talk to the folks there, and they'll set you up.
I know everybody's sticking around for Bill, but we'll hand out as much as we can.
Yeah.
Next question.
I believe that's me.
I believe it's you. What's your name, sir?
Daniel, how are you?
Wait, Daniel?
Yes.
Only Daniel. What's your question?
First off, at least the trash can is not going to go to business. It's good
Think about that. Yeah.
Baseball. I think we should discuss the whole header a bit later.
What would you like to discuss, sir? Talk to customer service about this.
I was not there, so I'm kind of wondering what was it like to live this up? Whatever that was.
The double header from what was the
I think. Are you talking about the?
Oh gosh! As you can see, I've tried to wipe that out.
Wait, let's tell everybody what happened.
I'll set the stage for you. So, no hitter in baseball, so you get full game without giving up any hits. You think if you give up no hits to the other team, you should have a pretty good chance of winning that game, right? Well, we lost it. The trash batters threw a no hitter going into the final inning. They were 1 out away from finishing the game. They were up 3-0. They walked 4 straight guys, scored a run. And then on the pitch was 2 outs, right down the middle. The last guy popped it up. Our center fielder ran out there, should have an easy catch to end the game.
The ball hit his glove, and then they hit the ground. 3 more runs scored. They walked and hit another 3 or 4 batters, and we gave up 7 runs in 1 inning without giving up any hits, and lost the game 7-5. And there was a doubleheader that day, so that was game number 1. And by game number 2, people who don't even live in this area are blowing up my phone going, "What on earth happened now?" Fans would yell and they go, "Yep, ESPN just posted. Yep, Arsenal just
Ricky did a smart thing though, because I saw it was getting shout outs on like the main ESPN account and stuff like that, and you were just like, well, that sucks. Anyways, it's where you can buy our shirts.
That's true. The online T store have a banner day, so just use that advice. We got another doubleheader today, so maybe we'll make some business.
Oh, look, man, I'll tell you, I'm a baseball nerd, and I can tell you anything can happen on any day at the baseball park. That's one reason you go out and see the trash man is you don't know what in the world you're going to see. The other night, we had Soka Decker throw out the first pitch. That was a great game. 2 doubles. You came back and won.
Great game.
So, especially on a doubleheader, don't take that to heart. Anything can happen. Trash fans are really good. Go see it. All right, next question.
Hi, my name is Trey. Question about the moon mission. I've always heard, I'm just supposed to watch the moon, I've always heard about the moon behind the moon. Have they looked into like the repercussions of like if mining goes wrong? Like what would happen with the moon being good? Like if there's a satellite the time machine movie?
Wait, when the moon blew up.
Yeah, they said they were mining it on there, and they went too deep and they like cracked the moon in half or whatever. One of the worst things to do. And I was just curious, like, if they done like studies of like what could possibly go wrong.
So you're giving us way too much credit. I wish we had the capability currently to mine the moon to explosive point, but we're not. We're kind of more, plastic spoons digging in the dirt at the moment. So yeah, actually, a lot of work right now on lunar resource utilization is the technical term that we like to use. But right now, the big focus is not necessarily on mining minerals. Right now, the big focus is, we've gotten a lot smarter in the last, 5-10 years. People, why are we going back to the moon? We've been there on Apollo. What are we going to do this time that we didn't do last time? One of the big things that we had no clue about for Apollo that we're getting way smarter about now is the fact that there's water on the moon. There's water ice on the moon. That's a big deal. People, we like water. That's kind of important to us. You can use it for, you can use it for biology. You can use it for water for people. You can use it for rocket fuel. You can make rocket fuel out of the water on the moon. So the big focus right now is not necessarily what do we do with moon rocks, but how do we get the water out of moon rocks? And so that's why we're really focusing on the lunar South Pole for the first missions. If you want to find water ice, that's the easiest place to do it. We're getting ready to send a mission called Viper. That's going to be a lunar rover. It's going to drive around, completely robotic, completely automated. But it's going to be the first mission to attempt to distill water out of lunar material. So that's kind of the near term. Beyond that, they're looking if there's a helium isotope, helium-3, that can generate power. Man, it would be great if we could use that. But tell you what, let's do this whole water thing because it's a little bit easier. Let's get smarter there. Let's use that to develop a lunar presence. And when we get smarter there, then maybe we start looking at things like helium-3. When we get smarter there, then maybe we start looking at at the materials, the moon rocks, the regolith. When we get smarter there, maybe then we blow up the moon.
We don't need that.
Give us time.
But quick follow-up. In theory, we could, when we go to Mars one day, we could use the moon as kind of like the Buc-ee's on the way there,
right? We need the sign posted. Definitely. Everything that we're doing now, getting ready to go to the moon. The question is in the back of the head. How does this get us closer to Mars? As we're developing habitation, we need it to live on the moon. But what are we learning from our lunar habitation that gets us closer to Mars? When you talk about utilizing lunar water, there's going to be water ice on Mars as well. How do we use the resources on the moon in a way that teaches us to use the resources from Mars? So Yeah, definitely. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning.
Such a good hot man. All right, next question. In the hoodie over here, yeah.
I'm old like cheese. I got questions for Mr. Spaceman. I'm also a huge history buff as far as space race history is concerned. I don't know if you knew about it. The proposal to use a Saturn V rocket for a manned Venus flyby that never actually came to fruition. Do you think the SLS system could even be remotely adapted to that, or maybe that we use the moon as a jumping off point to do something like that in the future?
Oh gosh. Okay. So Venus, yeah. So there's theory and there's reality, and on the theory side, the way you do it, I mean, like there's some exciting papers out there. You can go to the NASA has a website, ntrs.nasa.gov, which is the NASA Technical Resource System. But all of NASA's like conference papers and research papers and everything live in this system. So you can go there, type in human Venus mission. Because the fun thing about Venus is if you had a dirigible, if you've got a balloon in the atmosphere of Venus, there's a point in the atmosphere that's thick enough to support a balloon, not so thick that it's going to kill you, which is something you would avoid on a Venus mission, that you can actually go outside in shirt sleeves, right? You would need a breath mask, but like the atmosphere is agreeable enough that you can go outside in the atmosphere of Venus like this wearing a breath mask. And so there are the folks that are we need to be doing that. Is it feasibly possible? Yes. You need to get in line behind. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to develop the resources. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to blow up the moon for that guy.
Don't give anyone any ideas.
Oh yeah, he actually has the new Mars proposal. So I'm kidding about nobody does. Mr. Spaceman said they're blowing up the moon. We are not blowing up the moon. But it's let us do Mars. It's a little further along in developmental maturity than Venus. But again, Mars is not the end of the journey. Mars is the beginning.
Very good. All right, I think we got about 5 more minutes before we start getting ready for the captain to come in. All right, I see. We got anybody in the back? I want to make sure. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, go for it. What's your name?
My name is Heather, and I worked out at Huntsville way back then. I was an intern in college, and at the time, the 3D printing they were talking about, and I figured out how to print the moon and also Mars. Is that still something that you're trying to do, and did you learn about it, or is that what it was about?
Yes, no, definitely. So additive manufacturing, 3D printing in the space business right now is there's the terrestrial application. We're 3D printing rocket engine components. SLS will have 3D printed engine components that we're 3D printing here on Earth for space applications. Next level of maturity, we're 3D printing on the International Space Station. There's a 3D printer up there right now. They can print material. They can print items up on the International Space Station. Awesome thing about that is we can print tools. We can print parts, right? Every once in a while you'll see in the news the space station toilet is broken again. Oh gosh, and it happens. Like this is hard.
You get indigestion on the ISS. It's okay.
But we're talking about going to Mars. And when we're talking about going to Mars, I was on a panel last night, and the Mars folks said, plan on a 1,200-day journey, right? 1,200-day journey. You leave Earth, you go out to Mars, you come back. And if you're on a 1,200-day journey to Mars, and on day 17 your toilet breaks, that's going to be a long 1,183 days.
Listen, I will just tell the astronauts to come use the porta potty at the bond room, and they'll be okay. They'll know what's worse.
So before we send folks to Mars, we need to know every way a space toilet can break. We need to know every way to fix every way a space toilet can break, because you can't send more spare parts. You can't send them a new one. Once they leave, they're gone. We need to know every spare part for every way to fix every way a space toilet can break. And because of the work that you and others were doing, we're going to be able to know every way to 3D print every spare part for every way to fix every way that a space toilet can break. So it's going to be transformational. Next level of maturity, there are folks right now on Earth working on how do you 3D print from lunar regolith, right? So when we've got the surface habitat, we've got the base on the moon, you go outside with your shovel and you scoop up some regolith, you come in, you pour it in the 3D printer, and you print out on the moon the parts that you need, the tools that you need. You don't scoop enough that you blow up the moon. But yeah, definitely. No, 100%. Like I said, it's we're doing space application on Earth right now, and that's some of what you would have been seeing then. Probably saw some of the early development for 3D printing in space that we're doing right now, and paving the way for 3D printing on other worlds.
David, I think you also answered an earlier question about jobs. Space plumbing. That's going to be a job.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Thank you. That's wonderful. All right, thank you everyone for having us and having your patience while we're waiting on this guy that was in this old TV show to come here in a little bit. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Thank you so much for coming to see us. We really appreciate you. We're going to come around, and I got a couple of gifts to give everybody. We'll give as many as we can out. Again, just a round of applause for the today. Really congratulations. Natasha with the Avengers. Oh, and also, you know, give a round of applause to my wife's birthday today. She's right there. All right, thank you, everyone. Hands out, and we'll see Mr. Shatner here in just about 10 minutes.
Are you in the NASA booth? No, I'm not.
Thunder Shark.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of you aren't leaving, but if there's any chairs, I see a chair there. Now, if we're holding a chair, cool, but scooch in. Scooch. I think we'll scooch in. Because the line to get in here ends over there, and it starts there. Okay? So.
Sorry? I'm 32. Yeah, I am. I have a baby face. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, that was great.
Ray's just watching me and be like, you're in my seat.
You can stick around if you want to sit. Find your seat. You want to help me give out some goodies?
Yeah, I can do that.
Good work. Hey, thanks, dude. Hey, I got Marshall wanted me to.
If you are in the
What
room,
am I doing?
You want to hand out the Artemis books?
Does anyone want an Artemis book?
Yes. Hey, Zach.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Just sit over a chair. You're ready to just take a picture? Yeah, I was just one still. Good. Just like the 6 center right here. There's a galaxy. Oh, yeah. Yes, sure. Follow. We're running late.
to center your camera up on that other, that's the best way to get it on the camera. You want it to listen.